Remember last week when I talked about Blood Feast? The name of the tan actress, Playboy Playmate Connie Mason. I also talked about how I summed up the movie as saying that perhaps if Joe Bob Briggs hosted it instead of Elvira, it would have been better. Well, last night I was watching just Joe Bob. So Shudder has been running The Last Drive-In now for 3 years? 4 years? Anyway, there was a movie marathon in 2018. I believe that went 24 hours straight. And one of the movies that Joe Bob reviewed or showed, he actually shows movies. One of the movies he showed was Blood Feast. And I finally got to the episode where he did Blood Feast. So while I didn't get to watch the movie because, well, I'm not sure, but it may have, a lot of the movies have dropped off Shudder, but they have this whole string of just Joe Bob intermissions, him talking about the movies. And trust me, he covered much more about Blood Feast than I did. Joe Bob knew Herschel Gordon Lewis for like 20 years, 30 years. So there's that. So now I'm going to try some special effects here, so bear with me. We'll see what happens. Cheers. What I've got here is a classic 2-to-1 martini with Cokie Americano instead of vermouth. And it's delicious. It's like... So Cokie Americano is kind of bitter. I've been told it's much more like the Kina Lillet that preceded the Lillet Blanc of today, which was much too mild. This actually has some bitter flavor to it. So this is almost like a Negroni light. With some more of that fantastic Hendrick's gin. We're taking a trip to Mars this week. Why is that so shiny? Good hell. So there are better posters. Can we get her up close right here? Right. I've seen some better posters. But I kind of like this one. It has kind of a Art Deco feel to it. This week on the Late Night Picture Show, starring me, Murph the Clown, it's a Mars double feature with Devil Girl from Mars first up. Earth menaced by fantastic powers. We have... Sorry about that. I'm still having allergy issues. And we're still having intermittent wildfires all around here. It's like the whole West is on fire. Hugh McDermott, Hazel Court, Peter Reynolds, Adrienne Corey, Joseph Tumulty, Sophie Stewart, John Laurie, and Patricia LaFawn in Devil Girl from Mars. I'll be sure and run the more known poster in my ads. So look for that on Instagram or Twitter. Murph the Clown on Instagram and Twitter. There's your plug. Okay. You know, it's still hot. I don't know if we got to 100 today. But we at least got to 99. Now, yesterday, Charlie and I went up to the lake with Charlie's mom and a bunch of her friends. Charlie's mom stayed, but we went up for the day and hung out on the beach, floated around the lake, had a good time. Devil Girl from Mars, 1954 British Lion films, directed by David MacDonald. I don't know who David MacDonald is, but at least it's a normal name. A country inn on the edge of a bog. Or something. Swamp. I don't know. From a distance, it looks like a soup bowl. But up close, it's actually a pretty detailed flying saucer. I think they spent the entire budget of the picture on this flying saucer. Not too bad for a cheap-ass movie. Too bad the flying saucer has delivered to Earth such a bitch. Yep, a stern, frigid bitch dressed like an alien from some 40s serial, complete with a cape. So, maybe a little more superhero than alien. Do any of you remember serials? Yeah, they were like really, they were the precursor to low-budget sci-fi films. And they dragged on for a while. Well, this lady, shall we call her, the Devil Girl, torments the innkeeper and his patrons intermittently. For no reason, it seems, but to make a grand entrance through the patio doors. To the horror of everyone, she zeroes in on the kid. Yeah, there has to be a kid. And holds him up in her ship. What she wants, who the hell knows? She makes no demands, no ransom, just makes threats. I don't know. Well, despite her superior intellect and generally snotty attitude, the patrons fool her rather easily, telling her she will need a guide to get around London. After all, it's a big city. An uber-brain evil bitch with supernatural powers wouldn't stand a chance in the big city. Who wrote this movie? Good hell. Okay, it's 1954. It's England. How's a woman villain going to get away with anything in 1954? Well, she takes one of them with her. and promises the rest will be destroyed along with the inn. So let's forget about world domination. We're going to come all the way from Mars just to destroy this fucking inn. Yeah, whatever. Great one sheet, which I will show you. Shitty movie. Boring, contrived, and, well, British. And not in the good Monty Python way. In a terrible way. The entire cast attended the Barbara Stanwyck School of Acting. I suspect they were all stage actors making the move into films. They'd have done better to hire Ed Wood to write the script. I didn't cover the writer on the poster, did I? We'll save him the shame. It would have made more sense if Ed Wood wrote the script. And that's saying a lot. Not every Ed Wood movie made sense. So, this movie made no sense whatsoever. An expensive spaceship prop, some costumes, completely illogical scenarios. Yeah. I give this movie 1 ring. And that's just for the spaceship. The rest of it is complete garbage. On the floor over there, where it belongs. Okay. So when I bought this bottle of Cokie Americano, which is new here in Utah, never seen it before, and all of a sudden there it is at the liquor store, I decided that I was going to try it in all my favorite drinks that call for dry vermouth. Now, I tried it in a Negroni last night, and that was a little bit too much bitter. I put a shot of gin, I put a shot of the Cokie Americano, and half a shot. I cut the shot of Campari in half. Well, it was a little bit too much bitter without the sweet vermouth, the sweetness of the sweet vermouth. It wasn't balanced. That, however, is very good. And what I'm going to try next is Le Grand Louis. Right upstairs there. So, make yourself a drink, a new drink, or refresh your drink, whatever you got to do. Cook up a hot dog or some scrambled eggs. I will be right back after the break.